Hey, what's up everybody? And in today's video, we're going to be reviewing the newest controller from Haute42, the Haute42 or Cosmox C16. And I just want to say a big thank you to Haute42 for sending me this controller. I didn't get paid for this, I didn't receive any money, so the opinions in this video are all my own. And before we get into the actual review, everybody, don't forget, hit that like and subscribe button. It lets me make more review videos like this in the future. Thank you so much. Now let's get into the actual video. This is a 16-button leverless controller, and it comes with their stock wind engine switches, but there are two important differences between this controller and all the other ones they've released lately. First of all, as you can see here, it comes with a nice little wrist pad on the bottom, so you can rest your wrists on it. Also, the art panel on top can be removed easily thanks to some magnetic clips on each end of this controller. There's a little push button on the back. You just push, pop it out, and then the top panel comes off really easily for quick and easy changes of your art. And not only is this controller easy to switch the art on, it also comes with a couple of extra default art templates for you to use. There's some like generic fighting game ones, and the controller also in the box comes with two blank white templates that you can use, that you can easily print over and then just swap in any artwork that you want whenever you want. All right, let's just do a quick button sound check. Now, just like all other Haute42 controllers, this will work out of the box on Switch, Switch 2, PC, and PlayStation 3 and 4. However, if you are an Xbox or PlayStation 5 player, you are going to need an Xbox or PS5 adapter in order for this to work natively on those consoles. So keep that in mind, especially if you're a tournament player. Now, this controller comes with two different USB hubs. You can plug it in here in the back or here on the side, depending on what you like. So if you like it to have the USB come out the back or off to the side a little bit more flush to the body, totally okay. You can do either one. And another great thing about this controller, which I'm very happy to see, is that Haute42 has actually included two rubber pads on each side. But I'm really happy they included on this one because sliding in your lap tends to be a bit of an issue on some of the other Haute42 models, but not an issue at all with this one. These plastic pieces on the side are very non-slippery. They stick pretty well. Whether you're playing on your lap or on your desk, it doesn't move at all, and I'm so happy that Haute42 decided to include this. Also, we'll take a look here. The RGB lighting on this controller is fantastic. This is probably the best looking RGB I've seen in a Haute42 controller in a really long time. It's bright, it stands out. In some older Haute42 models, pushing the button would actually cause the RGB lighting to be kind of flushed out because of the button kind of going down, but not on this model, thanks to the rims on the sides here, which you can see. These are fully RGB, and whether you're pushing the button or not pushing a button, it's not going to affect the amount of lighting you get from this. So if you're the kind of player who really likes to have bright, vivid RGB lighting on your controller, I think you're going to be really happy with this one. Now let's talk about what I didn't like about this controller too much. It does feel a little plasticky, to be perfectly honest. It doesn't have that nice solid aluminum feel that some of the other higher end Haute models have, like the M16 Plus or the M Ultra. So if you're looking for a super sturdy, really well-built controller, you might be a little bit disappointed with this one. It does have a plastic body feel to it, but it does keep it lightweight. So as long as you're not one of those kind of people that travels a lot with your controller, I don't think you're gonna have an issue with this. Now, the internal stock key switches, they don't use standard cherry red Kyle switches. They actually use Haute42's own wind engine switches, which I think are a huge improvement over the originals. But just for personal preference, I prefer the Haute42 shadow hunting key switches, which you might have seen in my previous review. I'll link that up here for you. I would swap those in with this, especially if you're a more serious player. I just think the shadow hunting switches feel a little bit better than the wind engines. That's not to say wind engine is bad necessarily, just I think shadow hunting is a little bit better. And if you're a competitor, I think it gives a much better overall feel. This controller has a great LED display, so you know which buttons you're pushing, along with a light kill switch and a start and select or back button kill switch. So that's great if you're in a tournament, you don't want to get accidental start or back pushes by accident and then kind of ruin your whole tournament run because of a pause. One thing I will say about the start and back buttons, they do feel a little cheapy. If you can see right here, it's got this click, which is kind of standard run-of-the-mill for Haute42. But again, these controllers are relatively affordable. They're not super expensive, so I can kind of see why they went for this overall kind of cheaper feel on the start and select buttons. But I would like to see Haute42 kind of build a little bit of a more sturdy, strong start and select button. But it's a bit of a nitpick. I don't think it's going to have that much of an impact on you when you play. Then in terms of the button size and layout, these buttons are the smaller size buttons, so I think it's about 24 millimeters with a slightly larger jump button, but it's not a 30 millimeter jump button. If you're used to something more like the Razer Kitsune, the jump button is not nearly as big as that one. Those use all 30 millimeter buttons. This has the small 24 millimeter main buttons plus a slightly larger, I think it's 26 millimeter button down here. The jump button definitely does feel larger, but it's not significantly larger than the rest of the buttons. So if you're somebody like me with kind of like regular or more on the small side of hands, you're gonna feel that this layout is incredibly comfortable to use. I have no issue whatsoever. As you can see here, my hand kind of fits over all the main buttons, no issue whatsoever. It feels very ergonomic for me. But if you have really, really big hands, I think you might feel a little bit cramped on this controller. So for you big hand people out there, this might be a little cramped for you, and you might want something with a more large kind of spread out spacing like the M16 Plus. We have to talk about the one thing that I'm sure everyone is thinking about, the price. At the time of this video, this controller goes for $104 American on Amazon. And I think that's an incredibly reasonable price for what you're getting here. The overall feel is great. It has high quality key switches in it, and if you're a casual to somewhat competitive player, I think you're really going to enjoy this controller. And I mean, for $104, I think you get quite a bit with this controller. Again, at the time of this video, the Haute42 web store is doing a sale, so I'm going to leave a link for the description in this video if you want to check that out. But if you're in the market for maybe a first-time leverless, I think this is a great first choice. It's lightweight, it's inexpensive, and it does everything you need to do, and it has a ton of buttons giving you lots of customization options. So I think it's a really good controller overall. Now, in terms of size, as you can see, it fits really well on my desk. There's no issue whatsoever, and if I push on the sides, it doesn't slide. Also, if you like to play on your lap, no problem. I always play on my lap. I don't like to play on my desk personally, and I tried this out for a couple of hours on my lap. Felt comfortable, didn't take any getting used to. It just felt like I was using any other Haute42 controller. Just a good feel overall. Now, I'm really glad that Haute42 decided to add a bit of a wrist rest here. I know some people say that resting your wrists on the controller is really bad ergonomics and can cause some pain, but for me personally, I tend to rest my wrists on the controller itself actually, and I've never had any wrist pain issues. So I think that really comes down to the person. While I'm happy they included the wrist rest, I would have liked if they added some like foam padding or something, because this is just hard plastic. So it's not a big deal, but it definitely doesn't feel great to rest your wrist on. It has a little bit of a rough texture to it, but it would have been nice to have something a little bit softer to rest your wrist on rather than this kind of hard, scratchy plastic on the bottom. So overall, closing thoughts, I was really happy with this controller when I tried it. It feels great. So if you're in the market for your first leverless controller and you want something that's built fairly well, has a lot of buttons and offers tons of customization, beautiful RGB lighting, and lets you change artwork quickly, then this is a controller I think you're going to enjoy. Just a word of warning for those of you with big hands, I think the button spacing might feel a little bit cramped, so if you do have big hands, you might want to lean towards a different model with bigger, larger, more spaced out buttons rather than this model. But that's it for today's review. Thank you all so very much for watching, and I'll see you next time in the next video. Peace.